Alright, I have reintroduced alcohol as lubricant to the process. Should be fun. Also, no, don't remember what the also was. I had another point, I just don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, I think I start to sort out the Cabal. DragonRacer gives me some advice in this one, and I figure out Poison Strike a little better. So I think I look a little better in this one. I'm hoping. It would be nice for me to look good in one of these. Man, Xbox loading screens are long. Oh yeah, this is PS3. Man, PS3 load screens are long. They're both long. PC players have it easy.
Enemy forces have been spotted. Secure area.
Got it.
Alright. I didn't even see what that was. I don't even remember what we're fighting here. It's probably Reapers. If it went well, it was probably Reapers. It wasn't Geth, I know that for sure.
Cannibals! Hostile!
Oh, look at me rushing spawns like I know. Yeah. Toro was the expression. And I used that. That was what I was doing the first time. The very first game I ever used the Cabal. I was doing it Toro style, and I kind of understood where. I didn't understand where the damage range was, but I guess I was just kind of getting lucky and capturing that first sort of damage effective region. But in later games, I didn't realize that the damage only occurred in the first 7 meters, so I just couldn't understand why it wasn't working. Was that weird rocket flying over my head? I don't know, I kind of saw something weird.
I'm here!
Not sure what happened. Oh, Swarmers, of course. If it's Reapers and someone goes down between waves. Blame Swarmers. Swarmers are deadly. I hate Swarmers. Of all the individual Reaper enemies, Swarmers are by far the ones that concern me. Well, okay, Marauders, because statistically speaking, they're the deadliest. But Swarmers are just friggin'. Well, I mean, I like fast characters. Generally, they don't have a lot of health, so Swarmers are pretty deadly. Far more so than a Banshee typically. Fast characters run circles around Banshees. I hope I'm doing okay here. It's a little hard to see when I actually use autofocus and have it white. Oh, look. I still know how to miss. Unless that was Poison Strike, in which case I think I actually Poison Strike and the Heavy Release look a lot alike. And I am seeing this in a fairly thumbnail-sized kind of scenario, so I'll probably mix the two up occasionally. Which I'm sure I did when I was playing. I stuck with the Vindicator, obviously, and I do like it. It's a cool little gun, especially for the difficulty we're doing here, which is silver, but silver with our act together at this point. We didn't do so great in the last chapter.
Down to the last enemy.
There, look at me being sensible and using biotic focus. Should basically spend your entire time in biotic focus. Cool down, nothing in front of you, biotic focus.
Enemies down. Good shooting. Enemy is regrouping.
At some point, the words lose meaning. Biotic focus, biotic focus, biotic focus. It just sounds silly.
Our data centers are not transmitting. Find the targets and get them running.
Copy that! Cover it!
So I'm probably gonna start kiting the guys who aren't around. It's silver. There aren't very many guys. Hey, that was a pretty sweet headshot. Obviously, I don't get those very often, or I wouldn't find it that impressive. I think that's the same pug that played our last game with us, so it looks like we got our post-collector disaster. Everybody got to redeem themselves. I'm almost certain. Oh no, we don't get full extraction. Oh! Well, I won't spoil it. It doesn't go smoothly at the end, though. One of us has a hard time. See if you can guess who it is. I'm kind of impressed I can see anything. I can tell that whoever that is, okay, that's DragonRacer. Whoever that was, I could tell they were getting grabbed. So they just shot in that direction. But when I was playing this, I can remember having a really hard time seeing what was going on. Which really didn't change much, obviously. I'm hitting about as accurately as I was in the previous 3 videos, so being able to see is apparently not critical to my success in this game. And I continue the tradition of the grand heavy melee after the enemy is dead. Because I'm not above salvage. I don't know why I'm trying not to swear. Talk loud, don't talk under my breath. This is every time I keep listening to these, it's those little comments I make under my breath where I'm like, what am I saying? Because you can't hear it over the game noise. I have to remember not to do that. Learning process. Or I could learn how to mix sound. That would be the other option. But it's probably easier for me to just talk loud. I love fruit because I can. Who wants to miss? Really, missing sucks, and it's nice that there's an enemy in the game that pretty much can't miss. This is pretty much the part, I think, where the DragonRacer needs me to go Toro. Yeah, you can kind of see it happening now. It's almost like it's clicking. I like that we got so much return on our PuGs. At least, well, both of these players were definitely in our previous game. And this is our 4th game with choosing JDR. But we did end up going with entirely new PuGs in the next game, because we kind of took a bit of a break after this one. And which is kind of a shame, because I bet you anything JDR would have been happy to stick around and wait for 20 minutes in the lobby while we went and took a break. Just for the sake of playing with us again. I bet you anything he thought that what we were doing was hysterical. But I really don't know. I never did ask him.
Enemy is regrouping. Time to reload.
So yeah, our 5th game was with 2 entirely new PuGs. But again, we got a good couple of bunch. I mean, we had good luck with them. We didn't have anybody who was problematic. Everybody was fine. I mean, you can see it in the videos. We're not getting a lot of games. This is our second global game. I mean, obviously the first one went poorly, but that wasn't the fault of anybody. Right? I love how everything turns green. Or rather, I find it confusing. Ah, yes. The amazing mythical non-grass. I've had dates. I hate blood vision. I hate dying more than blood vision, but I pretty much hate them both almost equally. That's a sweet spot right there. Well timed. I really want to get as many melee kills as I could, which was probably not smart, but was a little bit fun. I think I do get one. At some point. I can't even really read what I say. I think I got some kind of achievement there. At this point, we were so protective of choosing JDR. I was like, I have no doubt that DragonRacer was on top of that guy in seconds. I didn't really quite mean that, how that sounded. It's killing stuff. I just, you kind of have to get it in the right distance. Or rather, I do. People who know what they're doing obviously don't find it quite a challenge. But it's a neat character. I liked it a lot. She got a bit of hate recently. But I like her. I think she's pretty cool. I mean, I obviously have some stuff to figure out.
Upload the intel from local server.
I find hacks incredibly easy at this point. I know that location can be a big issue. Map and faction matter a lot in hacks, there's no question. But I find 90% of hacks to be practiced are no-brainers. I almost like the really hard hacks just for the sake of actually getting a challenging one. I find them incredibly easy. I used to do them all the time. I still use Duration Cloak Shadow, but I used to use one pretty regularly, and hacks are very easy to do. Duration Cloak is probably the easiest one, along with 1, 2, 3, 4 objectives, if you have a Duration Cloak, which is one of the two that you're practically tailor-made for. But eventually I just kind of figured out how, I mean, most of these are really quite big. Even on gold, you don't need anybody kiting enemies away. You can, all four of them can do hacks at the same time on gold very easily. On platinum, I can definitely see having a fourth player go off and draw some aggro for you. Boss fights are tough to deal with double flank. But even on gold, all four people can pretty much hang in the hack as far as I can see at this point. Once you know what you're doing, it's not that difficult to run distraction routine in an area this size to keep the hack going. As long as you know which enemies you're going to have to kill to keep them from messing things up, you're pretty much fine. You can kind of keep moving in a circle. Lateral movement is the same in that situation, certainly. But as long as you keep moving around, I mean, you can see pretty much all of us were in the circle the whole time. This is silver, though. That's nothing particularly overwhelming. But even on gold, when you have some tougher mixes of enemies on a level like this with an objective like that, it's not really that hard to keep everybody, all four people. I generally don't prefer it when someone runs aggro or draws aggro on gold. I don't mind that on platinum. But on gold, it kind of bothers me, because I'd rather get the credits faster, to be perfectly honest, and I don't find hacks so challenging that I feel I need a fourth player to draw aggro from the hack. And frankly, as far as I can see, most PuGs are fairly fast. I don't see a whole lot of issues with all four people. Am I on a soapbox at the moment? Is that what I am doing? Am I doing a BSN Hydrace thing? I think I am. I think I'm having a moment. Well, that's a good moment. I think I'm going to fall back on a prince. Well, that's a good one to fall back on. Hey, it's the objective. We all want more money, right? So, you know, do what'll get us more money. I'm getting headshots. I almost look like I know what I'm doing at this point. I'm pretty sure probably got a little more used to the control as the day went on. The PS3 controller is definitely much more sensitive than the Xbox One. So it was definitely an adjustment. Look at me finally sorting out light melee, by the way. Incredibly useful on the Cabal. I wish I'd been using light melee on the Cabal the whole time. But no, I only just kind of recently glommed onto that. Very, very useful. Huge stagger. I kind of have this melee thing almost sorted out. Probably helps that I was a couple of levels higher than I was in the first couple of games, anyway. These self-reinforcing melee bonuses really do kind of a few levels backing them up. Just the heavy melee activating 50% bonus isn't really going to cut it. But now that I have a few other things leveled up to an appropriate point. Obviously, I'm still not sorting out the Nightshade Blade. I barely used them. I've hardly touched them. I don't even know. I'm sure I launched them off once or twice so far this game, but I doubt I've used more than that. And that's something I need to fix. I mean, there's grenade boxes everywhere. I would be running through. I'd be using, if this was a human infiltrator, coming up next, spoiler, I'd be using sticky grenades all the time and running to grenade boxes. When I'm using a human infiltrator, I'm constantly launching stickies. They're a pretty big damage output for such a little thing. So, you know, I'm just finding, and especially, well, I'm basically using it when I get out of the bad aim, but good idea. There we go. A little bit better. Get off cover. I sort of look like I know a bit more about what I'm doing. This is still not wise. I'm taking on a lot of people pretty much by myself, and that's what's going to happen when you take on a bunch of guys by yourself when you're a little over your head. But I did okay for a few minutes there. It was the last couple of charges that were dumb. I should have stayed behind soft cover. DragonRacer, I'm pretty sure that's DragonRacer. Got me there. Yep. She had to put herself in a bit of danger to come get me. That was probably not too considerate on my part, but we only have 3 metagels, so I kind of have to force her to do stuff like that. Can't waste a metagel in an early wave like this. But this one goes well, as I recall. Really, I should have been poison striking that, but there's no reason not to do it nearby. Now there is. I should have been a little more cautious with that one, and I'm probably about to go down. Yep. Well, hindsight's 20/20, or at least 10/20, or whatever sort of good vision comparison would be. Still got that questionable aim thing going. Now that one I started to figure out this game definitely, that the timing on the whole throw is improved. I mean, there's a moment where you can get away with flashing through them before you'll get staggered, and I just have to sort that out with the different enemies, because the different timing, almost all the enemies apparently, or at least it seems to me, can stagger you during strike, so it's just a question of the timing of it. You kind of have to watch their attack pattern and catch them in a moment where they're not going to be able to stagger you. Which is different, definitely, from Biotic Charge. Biotic Charge, you don't have to think about whether they can stagger you. You only have to think about whether you can get it off. I mean, if you have lag or some issue with slowing you down, then you're definitely going to have a problem. But as long as you're on host and things are working well, and you can get it off when you want it to, they're not going to stagger you out of it. They're going to get you the vulnerability. Get at least on host anyway. But Poison Strike, not so much. You can get staggered out of Poison Strike. And it can happen pretty consistently. It doesn't necessarily in every game, but I had games where it was happening pretty regularly that I would do it, and then before the animation would complete, something would end up hitting me. Brutes can definitely do it. We've already done that. I've had Marauders do it. Space Elbow. Space Magic Elbow. And definitely lots of other stuff. But I'm pretty sure it's a question of time. You just have to make sure you do it at the right time. You can kind of see it. And that's what I largely learned with Status as well. It's never completely safe with Phantoms. It's not based on my experience. But with most units, you can largely get around. Or stagger. Carefully. But Phantoms can kind of take it right out of nowhere. On host, off host, doesn't matter. Phantoms can do almost anything at a moment's notice. At least based on my limited experience, they can. I find Ravagers fairly easy to deal with now. They used to drive me nuts. I think they're one of the tougher enemies to be accustomed to sort of take out. And I certainly started out as a camper in the first 6 months I played the game. But the more mobile you are, the easier Ravagers are to deal with, certainly. They're definitely an easy enemy to short circuit if you sort it out your path. Punch to the face. That is some sweet melee. I don't care who you are. Clawing something in the face and then knocking it at like 10 feet into a wall and then it dies. If you don't feel like that's pretty friggin' cool, then I don't know. You're playing the wrong game. Look at this, another hack. This is probably the hard one, I guess, of all the hacks. Well, this and the, I guess the old, I don't know. I think the old farming position can actually be pretty tough now, given the changes to the map. I'm not hesitating to whip out my old missile here. We're talking like 10. Did I actually fire it there? No, I don't think I did. I think I hesitated and decided not to. That may have been because I I'll often do that if I'm, mildly like I grab with a single. I'll figure center shades and sorry. I'll just get the old missile out and then block. And if nothing's gonna happen, it looks like it's gonna work out, I'll put it away again. I won't waste it. Oh, that's pretty sad. I didn't remember that happened. Who bid it there? Well, anyway, things obviously aren't going super awesome here. I'd forgotten about this.
Squad member needs help.
But it is a pretty tough little hack, or it certainly can be.
Get to squad member down.
And credit to me, I wasn't gonna rage gel. We only have 2 of them, but once everybody but me, or once all of us, we've got 1 person bled out, and only 2 remaining besides me. Okay, that's my turn. I'll grab the next one. And that was the right move, and it worked out. Got everybody back up, and it worked out. I still have both my missiles. Somebody obviously used theirs. Very well timed. And again, having that sort of I had a lot of where's my grab stuff happening.
Security breached. We got the goods.
Oh, just not the perfect timing quite. If I'd held on for about another split second, that would have actually... And that was what I was trying to do. I literally shot that a split second. I came early. That's what happened. I came early. I wanted to take... and that didn't help the spawn, unfortunately. So those guys that I killed respawned, sadly, because literally half a second most early. If I'd waited another half a second, they would not have respawned. But, that time is tricky, and we were getting overwhelmed, and there were only 3 of us. And it did not exactly work out too badly. We finished off. We cleaned up the spawn pretty quickly.
Rendezvous at LZ.
Copy that.
I basically have reached a point where I kind of ignore what everybody does during extraction, with a few exceptions. I'll stick near, if there's someone in my friend list, I'll often stick near wherever they are. And there's certain positions on the map that are just so ridiculously easy to defend with natural gravity. There's a couple of reactors, no-brainers. There's a couple of reactors, no-brainers. 2 on reactor. Obviously, reactor, but I don't find there's a natural defensive spot. Sometimes, the high ground in here, people will often defend naturally, and I'm often of the opinion that if you'll defend the ground naturally, there's no reason not to during extraction zone if it works. And frankly, the high ground is no reason not to defend it during extraction here if you defend it most of the time. Most PuGs do, and it's fairly easy to defend because high ground usually is. But my natural gravitation, I naturally gravitate to the same part of the circle now. With very few maps, there's some good... this is what I meant when things don't ultimately go well. Didn't like that. Didn't like it at the time. Don't like it now. But nowadays, I pretty much kite no matter what the map is. There are a few exceptions. And if there's an easy defensible spot, and Giant, practically defend the LZ on Giant if you want to. But I still defend the control room on Giant because it's such an easy to defend. 2 people at the top, 2 people at the bottom. It's very, very easy. And any map where it looks like the PuGs are doing the same kind of thing, I'll do that, and it generally will work out well. 24 minutes is a bit long for a silver one, but ultimately I'd say that went okay. Bearing in mind, we had no gear and no equipment, really. Or bare bones equipment at best. But yeah, I'll just pretty much kite in a circle on most maps, and that's all it really takes. Technically killing them is irrelevant. You only need to do it to stop them from killing you. But shoot stuff. It's gonna die. So yeah, I usually just kite in a circle during extraction wave these days. I used to pick good defensive spots, and I can still do that. So if PuGs are defending a spot, and it's a good defensive spot, I'll help them, because I'm certainly good enough at it. I've had enough practice. But all things being equal, just walking in a circle will usually short-circuit the vast majority of the enemy's tactics. Which is why soloing works pretty much, I think in most cases. Yeah, the epic load screens. Oh, do I get the loading? Oh, that's right. I have no idea how I did in this match. And I haven't even watched. This is the first time I've actually watched mine before I've watched DragonRacer's. So I haven't even seen DragonRacer's yet. I have no idea how I did on this one. Well, I mean, I know how I did. I didn't do badly. I got some melees. Things went well. We extracted. There's no reason to be bothered by that one. So I'd say that one went well, but I'll have to check in on the score by watching DragonRacer's version of the video. Anyway, not much exciting to say. Apparently I kept recording. I don't know why. I suppose maybe I was vainly hoping that the score screen would pop up. Not that there was really anything that exciting. I mean, I'm confident I placed 4th in all 5 games we played. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'm fairly confident I placed 4th in all 5 games. But I don't think that also really matters, particularly given what we were trying to do and the whole point of it all. And the main thing is that it was fun, and I did have a great time. So 1 more chapter to go, and 5 will be next.